So, welcome back, guys. This is Mirak, and picking up from where we left off last time, I will link the previous video in the description. And okay, we saw that we analyzed, we queried the alien vault using malware overview, and then we picked only the top three threats pulses that were being sent from Ellen Vault based on the subscriptions I made with my own account. You can go ahead and create your own account, make your subscriptions, and then they will feed you pulses based on the subscription you made. Now, these pulses are threat intel feeds. Could be specific to an area you're interested in, could be specific to the industry you are involved in. So picking up from there, one of the references which was to the third pulse feed we got was about Icebot. Okay, Icebot with Dark VNC and Cobalt Strike. Now, a brief overview of what that malicious act leads to is encapsulated in this picture. So we see it is being sent via an email and a password zip, a password protected zip, which when you open the zip and extract it, you are being delivered an ISO file. ISO, it's normally if you launch it on a Windows operating system, it will be accessed via a drive, just like you have the drive C, drive D, could be a drive E, drive A. So, and then inside this ISO contains some other folders, subfolders, which contains the malicious scripts that will be implemented by these threat actors. So I will just go straight to extracting with the IOC, which this is the IOC we got from the report. If you've not seen the previous video, I advise you do so. So with this IOC now, we can fetch the malware sample and do the analysis by ourselves. And this link will be added to the description, which in case you want to read through what the sample does, you can just go there and browse through it. So, but let's pick this up and analyze it ourselves and see what we can make out of this. Still using malware overview. Let's see, and via Bazaar. Okay, quickly let's show you the help options for malware overview, so you see what the option for Bazaar would be. Okay, the dash B option. It fetches information from Bazaar. So now we're going to be using the dash 5. I mean the 5 option, which is download a sample from malware Bazaar. But okay, if you query, you can query the Bazaar database with the 1 option, and you can also get information on a list of malware samples with the 2 with using indicating 2. So but what we're going to be doing here is just to download the sample, but just to show you what a query option would look like, we can use op1 and then dash B and then give it the hash we copied and see what it will report back to us. So you see here, you will see the hash calculated when it was first seen, and then the file name and the MIME type, which is the applications /zip, and the country US. Now the password, the zip file is password encrypted, so the password, this is the password you've gotten here already in advance. So that is a brief overview of what you can get from from Bazaar. So now let's download it with using 5 dash B5. Let's download the sample. All right, so we got it. Okay, this is the sample we've gotten from Bazaar, and we can unzip it using 7-zip. Okay, let's click yes and proceed. The password here, any sample you get from Bazaar, the password is infected. Alright, so okay, we've gotten nothing. Let's see with the X option. Sorry, infected. Alright, so we get our ISO file. So ISO.iso files are like zip files. So we still need to use this 7-zip to extract it further and see what it contains. You can see the running file. It will give you the information about the file. That it's empty. Is it empty? Should we try it? 7-zip extract. Wow, cannot open archive. What's going on? Or did we feed it the wrong password? So let's see what with Bazaar previously we got the password doc2546. So let's try that with this and see if it will work. Doc2546. Yes. Doc2546. Alright, file is empty again. Alright, now we see we got it this time. So it's not the correct password here is doc2546, not infected, which is regular password we use for encrypted malware samples we get from Bazaar. But I think I forgot to make this disclaimer. Whenever you're analyzing a malware, please don't do it on a regular system you use daily. You should set up a virtual machine and then most of this analysis, all of this analysis, not most, all of them should be done on a virtual machine for your own safety. So it is not good in any way to analyze malware in your regular system. Do it on a virtual machine, except it is a lab you set specifically for analyzing malware, which of course you should know how to get rid of it. So this is the file we've gotten, so let's clear this up and then see what we can, using 7-zip, see this time if we can extract what's inside. We've gotten it. Yeah, we have. So we extracted the file, the contents from the ISO file, which I told you it's like a zip file mostly. So, and it brought out some extra folders that are contained in it. We can see statistics.lnk. So recently, new malware samples have been leveraging LNK to deliver executables that could infect your system. So LNK files are like shortcuts which you normally see on your desktop, so that once you click on it, automatically it runs the samples. So what is this? What does it contain? Let's use a text editor bin to view what it contains. Okay. Nothing useful here because it's a binary, of course. So, but we can see this .cmd. It tells us possibly this is going to run a command if you click on it as normal. So it's something you should expect when you see a malicious.lnk file. It will possibly do something malicious. So okay, where would we see the command? Let's cd into the other directories and see what is in it. .text cd get. Nothing interesting. Let's cd into one. Okay, let's check this out. kp.cmd, kpfhmc. Okay, this is a small letter, not capital. kp.cmd. Okay, now This command possibly it's reaching out to this JS file to launch whatever is inside it. So can we check it out? Can we check out what's in the JS file? Okay, cut the long story short, whatever you're seeing here, cut it short. It's trying to launch this, which is inside, okay, still this directory, this one directory. So we see a dat file. A dat file is a file format which is capable of containing all file formats. We could contain, it could reference, it could contain a video, PDF, and audio with this .dat file. It's a generic file format. So, and let's check out what it contains, what it will give us. File JG. Oh, this is a binary. Mostly dot files are like text files, right? But then, like I said, it's a generic file format. It can contain any kind of file format. It can contain any kind of data. It could be a binary, it could be a text, it could be audio, it could be video, it could be PDF. So this now, oh, okay, this is possibly contains some HTML element. Possibly, with when you see something like this, it should already tell you, okay, this may have a home page, this may have an index page, or possibly this tries to fetch data from the C2 and then tries to execute some more things in your network. So from this you could guess that this is an installer, this is a downloader, meaning it fetches extra malicious samples from the command and control server, it reaches there and then fetches some more data by post request, or a get request, and then execute some stuff further on your system or your network. So if you run xsd, let's type this to less and see what more we can gather. Oh, like I said, it's a binary, it's an executable. All right, so the nz header tells us that it's an executable. So is there something more we can find here? Scrolling down, just the HTML related stuff. So this is a quick overview of this. Quickly delving into this sample to see some artifacts we can gather from here, just for a quick understanding of what this malicious sample can do. It's not a deep reverse engineering kind of stuff. So the things here we're not delving or digging deep. It's just a brief. How would we do it? If you want to have a quick understanding of what the sample is doing, how would you go about it? So, and we have seen here that so far it drops this this ISO file contains an executable, which of course, because it's an ISO file, it should contain an executable, an image disk, which should be used to run some other stuff. But then the executable, what do we know of it? How do we know what it can do further? And this is a Remnox environment, which is a Linux environment, but this we can see, okay, let's run file on jg.dat file and see what it can give us. Okay, it's a DLL, meaning it's an executable built for x86 and 64-bit operating systems, right? So normally if you pick this up, you can run it in via a debugger using run.dll.exe to see what it would end up doing, and then using process hacker to monitor whatever is being run on your system, monitor the network traffic and gather some more data, but we won't do that here. So let's go to the other folder, which was the me folder, and see what more we can gather from here. Okay, see the CMD we saw earlier from the statistics link.lnk file. So if we run edg cmd, we see again it's making reference to another JS file still within here. Okay, what does the JS file do? pg. Okay, it launches another .dat file, but this time in the me folder. I won't open the .dat file, which of course it will be, okay, just for the sake of proving what it is. Let's see. Okay, it's an executable as well. See the MZ header. This program cannot be run in a DOS mode. Scrolling down, you can see some script stuff. You can see some HTML related stuff. Okay, so we can have a guess as well that this is another downloader. We're supposed to create something more, but if you run file, it shows that it's a DLL. So I had gone ahead to, since I can't run this PA file right here on a Linux machine, I went ahead to use an online sandbox hybrid analysis to load up the sample in advance, because what would happen is it takes time to process the data, up to possibly 7 minutes or more. So I had to launch that already, but let's check out the report and see what we can get. Now we analyzed the T10 vwm.dat file, which is what we got from this me folder. And now this sandbox this is an online sandbox. It's like a Windows operating system which is hosted online. So you process your sample and then it would run it, get as much data as it can, and furnish you with the result, so that you would know the capabilities of the file you try to run on the sandbox. If it's malicious, of course, you see the tag here, malicious. So it tells you this is malicious. So, and it will show you the indicators what would possibly make it malicious. Now already you can see the tags. This is an ICE ID. I did this myself and I made a mistake. It's supposed to be ICE ID, not ICD ID. And then these tags and labels would indicate what kind of malware family is this, what kind of malware sample is this, what are the related things you should know in advance before delving into it. So you see that this report has 7 indicators that were mapped to 5 attack techniques and 4 tactics in MITRE. MITRE gives you what we call TTP, techniques and tactics and procedures that threat actors use to execute their campaign or their malicious activities. So right here we have 5 attack techniques and 4 tactics that we implemented here. So if we load it, we would see that we have such things as defense evasion. Under defense evasion, we have software packing. The tactics here is defense evasion. And why? What was the indicator? We see that it contains the PE file contains unusual sections. Now a PE file is made up of sections. We regularly have the text section, the RC section, which is the resources, the code, and the data. But sometimes you end up seeing some sections which are not. These are the regular sections you're supposed to see in a PA file. But if you see something extraneous, you know that this is possibly used for something malicious. It's not all the time, all right? So it's potentially packed from the indicator here. We also see that it makes discovery and other techniques being deployed. The tactics being deployed, it makes discovery. What is this? And what is it trying to discover? It reads the cryptographic machine GUID, which it also has the ability to read software policies. It reads information about supported languages. Now collection, found a potential email address in binary memory. Okay, aforehand we know, okay, this kind of information, when we are going into the reverse engineering aspect, we know, okay, what are we looking for? This, we are arming ourselves with information before even digging deeper into the code. This is just initial analysis of the sample. Now, command and control tactics, which is possibly trying to communicate over SSL connection, HTTPS, to fetch some more additional stuff. So it's a sign that this is probably a downloader trying to fetch some more data to exploit your system. Okay, so to read up on this, there are references to this malicious sample. You could check it out, and this hybrid analysis that has made available the links, the external links you could read up. So we're looking at the malicious indicators now, which, let's not cover most of this stuff, but we see something from antivirus engines and Cobalt Strike. So most of this we've already seen from the MITRE attack techniques and tactics, that suspicious indicators that it reads the cryptographic machine GUID. Okay, we found a potential email address in binary. The P has a high image base. P has no import directory. Highly suspicious. When it has no import directory, it possibly means, oh, it is packed, right? And then if you had seen the export address table, and most of the names that were used there were not, they were hashed, they were not regular names, which is also an indicator that, okay, possibly this is packed, or it is using API hashing. And we saw usual section names. We found potential IP address. Process is launched with changed environment, spawns new process, contains ability to read software policies. Processes are not known. Spawns new processes that are not known child processes. Network related activity. Found potential URL in binary or memory. Possibly tries to communicate over HTTPS. What do we have from this packer? Static parser, okay. Was detected as Microsoft Visual C++ DLL. So with the file details, so now this Microsoft Visual C++, okay, it's the Packer compiler that was potentially used. All this is it's giving us information that will be useful when we are going into reverse engineering. So regularly, this is the .text, the .rdata, the .rsrc is the standard sections that are contained in a PA file. But these are strange ones we've not seen. It's not known. So we have the PHT, we have the CDR. So these are part of the things that potentially tell us that this sample it should be suspicious, right? So, and these are the file exports, the export which will be found in the export address table, and none of these things sounds like English. It's either hashed, no, it doesn't look hashed, or packed. So another suspicious, something we should be wary of. And okay, we run DLL, we see it try to execute to implement the DLL and much of those stuff. So these are it compiles most of this information for us into one tab, and you could scroll through and see something interesting you could find, which just keeping ourselves abreast of every information we can gather, so that when running into reverse engineering, you know what to look for. So we could see all strings that are contained in it. We could also see information about the hash, and also the one DLL 32. What did he run? and much of those stuffs. So this is possibly what would tag dynamic analysis of a sample. So, and it's something, if with the right environment set up in your lab using a Windows operating system, you could run this by yourself and you could monitor it yourself to see what is being done. But we decided to do this with a sandbox, an online sandbox, and much of those information that's extracted for us and giving us an overview, such that if you don't have such a lab to run these samples, you could run it on a sandbox, right? Irrespective, and you would still gain the same result, right? So that's so far how much we can make of this sample. And I tried to get the p cap for this sample, okay, which would have been much easier to do it myself with in a Windows lab, but it's not something that's feasible at the moment. But scrolling through this documentation from what's this guy's name? Brad Duncan. He already tried to gather much of those. He did a perfect job. He he gave more information from the PCAP, from the network file that was captured, network traffic that was captured. He made he gave this information already, so you can browse through and then see what more this malware sample is doing. And from the initial analysis we did with Alien Vault, we saw the C2. This sample tried to contact -1 -3. Let's see. Trying to fetch the pulses again. We saw earlier. Okay, we saw this, right? Highest ID with dark VNC and Kubar strike. So we saw the domains that tried to contact the C2s. So if it's up, which I don't expect it to be, we could reach it. You know, even this IP are not supposed to try to reach to it on a regular system. You should do that on a virtual machine so that if something goes wrong, you can easily restore. So not found. Probably it's down. How about the others? Paranista, Paranistia.top. Is it live? It's not live. How about this? This is not live as well. So most of this C2 has been brought down once a sample has been found, discovered, and then there are indicators of compromise already released, and most times the threat actors, when they know they've been caught or they've been discovered, they quickly bring down, fold up, and then walk away. And so we can see here that most of these C2, most of these servers are already down, which normally should be up, and then receiving information from samples from exploited machines. It's not much, so you could just run through all of them and see if any of them is up. Still not up. How about this? Could that be my internet connection, or it's potentially up? Let's try it reload. I think that should be my internet connection, or it's just down. It's no longer live. Let's reset and try it again one more time. Problem loading. We are having trouble finding that site, so it's down. So let's test. It's not my network. It's not my network, so it's down actually. So what could you do with all this information you've gotten? So with these indicators of compromise, you could create your Yara rules in your network environment, and then to spot these attacks in future, or to search or to hunt for the presence of these indicators in your network, so that you would know or be aware that if you are potentially if you are actually infected at some point or not. So that's what we'll do for today, and thank you for watching, and please do not forget, it's useful and very helpful that you hit the subscription button, and then you turn up the notification icon if you intend to hear from me next time. I'm Mirak, and I'm a malware analyst and a reverse engineer. So most content will be posted here will be related to cyber threats and malicious activities. Thank you once again for watching. Stay blessed and have a great day.